Hi, I'm Mario Mancini, former WWE wrestler, and first inductee into the 2014 New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. When I want my wrestling news, I watch the Squared Circle.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are 48 hours removed from WrestleMania 30, the 30th edition, at the Superdome. The Superdome, Mr. Hogan, not the Silverdome. WrestleMania 30. What a night. What a weekend it was.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Yes!
Yes!
Yes!
Yes!
Yes!
Yes.
Yes! Yes! I'm Hollywood J. Williams.
I'm Thunderous Tom Dacey.
And this is
John Zimmerman coming again.
John Zimmerman, not
with the Hall of Famer.
with the Hall of Famer, the Warrior.
You
Hell
know,
has frozen over.
It did a long time ago when Bret the Hitman Hart.
Hell
Yeah.
has frozen over.
Well,
Yes.
it flows over again.
Yes. The Warrior hugging Vince. The streak over with.
Everything.
We're in Bizarro land.
This is the most memorable Mania, I think.
and I have a major announcement to make.
What's your major announcement?
I am now officially a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, first off, we're going to have to give you a circumcision. And we'll have you over for the Seder. So that's, comes with the territory.
So you're jumping ship to Paul Heyman? I thought you were a Jay Williams guy.
Well, that too, but I gotta stay with my man Cesaro.
The King of Swing, Cesaro.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was a Paul Heyman weekend.
I think so.
His reaction on WrestleMania is one for the ages, I must say.
One for the ages. And this is the latest I got on 21 and 1. Brock being the one in 21 and 1. The latest was that the match was supposed to end the way it did. And only a select few people knew that that was going to be the ending, as in, not even Paul Heyman knew that the match was going to end right then and there when it did. All he knew was Brock was going to win.
Okay.
They wanted to give, the look on everybody's face
Yes.
when that match ended.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what they wanted.
you
from
could
the
hear a
crowd.
pin drop
Yeah.
when that happened.
80,000 or whatever the attendance was there, complete silence.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a reporter on the scene, our good friend Lucifer Lords, made the trek to New Orleans, to WrestleMania and Monday Night Raw. And as we speak, he's coming back. He flew into Newark, and he's been delayed. We were going to have him on the show, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to get here on time. He was laid over with plane problems in Texas. How you go from Louisiana to Texas to Newark, I don't know. But
That's layovers for you.
yeah, I told him, if you're on the plane, just keep saying ping, ping, ping. Everything will be all right.
That's it. But what he was saying is,
He said there was 15 minutes of just pure silence, and then everybody just started booing after the Undertaker match.
completely.
Yeah. And if you go on his page, he got a really nice picture of himself with Bret Hart.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
have to check
Lugo,
that out later.
Is still a fan, He's a
So
good guy.
I can't believe that the unbelievable happened. I can't believe that it's over.
The unthinkable.
Well, I believe it because the stock dropped over $5. My goodness. Vince, what did you do to me?
21
And 1.
and 1.
I was quite shocked.
I was completely shocked. It was totally unexpected, but that's apparently the effect that they wanted. That's one school. There's a lot of schools of thoughts here.
Yeah.
There's that. There's the what I was thinking after I saw that, and that was that Mark Calloway did not kick out of the 3 count in time. And the referee's counting 1, 2, and he's supposed to be getting up, and he's not getting up. And it didn't. You can't even say where it looked like it was a fast count because it wasn't a fast count. So they couldn't even possibly go there if they wanted to. 1, 2, 3, and then he's getting up. But now he just counted 3.
I think a lot of people thought that, as I mentioned to you yesterday, and I just mentioned to John earlier, our friend John Kelleher had on Facebook yesterday that there was a report that it wasn't supposed to happen that way, and that they thought Brock was going to be fired.
Yeah, I saw that too. They said the report was that Vince was being interviewed by a number of reporters afterwards, and he was going allegedly to fire Brock Lesnar for going off script, and it wasn't supposed to happen that way. But there was only one source for that, and the source said, Vince was being interviewed by multiple reporters, but none of the other reporters that allegedly were there, have written about it or have been talking about it. So I really think that's just one man's fantasy.
Because I know, like I said, Dave Meltzer had a report yesterday, and he just said what Jay said, that everything went as it was supposed to.
Right, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. And I mean, say what you will. I mean, he's been called dirt sheets, but Dave Meltzer's been around longer than anybody else in the wrestling journalism business, and he's very well respected among the backstage, among the fellas. Vince doesn't like him because he gives away stuff ahead of time, and people talk to him and give away a lot of the secrets and the storylines.
Right.
But Dave Meltzer, very respected in the business, and usually he's spot on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's different schools of thought here. But nonetheless, 21 and 1.
Yeah.
What did happen, everything Paul Heyman said apparently happened backstage, where he collapsed, possibly suffered a concussion, was rushed to the hospital in New Orleans.
And Vince went with him, I understand.
And Vince went with him, from what we understand. Spent the night. We don't know. Now, does this mean that this is the end of the road for Mark Calloway? Is he done in the wrestling business now?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of speculation whether he was going to show up on Raw and announce his retirement. That didn't happen. He was at the arena for Raw. There was photos from Instagram where he walked on his own power out of the hospital. Plenty of people there, a lot of photos taken, some amateur video taken of Mark Calloway leaving the hospital in time to get to Raw, and reports that he was backstage at Raw. Why there was no appearance, where are they going to go from here? The writers and Vince only know. But from the outset of the match, I thought it was a very slow-paced, very boring match, to be honest with you. It just was like the two guys lumbering around. There was no, energy in it whatsoever.
Remember, there's only so many things you could do to Brock Lesnar.
Right.
As it is. I think there's a reason why there's a tattoo over here on his stomach.
Yeah.
To tell you, don't hit me here.
Right.
And so it was kind of boring, and that's probably the shock value of it, because it was boring for an Undertaker WrestleMania match. I mean, there could have been a lot of people that got up to go to the bathroom, go make sandwiches, and all of a sudden the match is over.
Right.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah. And they're like, what just happened?
Right. 80,000, whatever the attendance was. I don't have the exact number for the attendance.
We posted it on our page.
But all incomplete stunned silence.
Yeah, and like I said, Lucifer Lords was in the audience, and he said there was about 15 minutes of just silence. Like, you know, people were in disbelief. Like, they couldn't believe. They were waiting for, like, some McManigans, or, you know, to happen where, you know, Hulk Hogan would come out and restart the match,
Yeah.
or some, you know, some tomfoolery.
Manigans.
Yeah, some tomfoolery. But
Right.
it happened the way it was supposed to happen. And, you know, obviously, Mark Calloway, being the guy he's been in the WWE for the last 20-some-odd years, it was his choice.
It
you
was
know?
his choice.
There was no way he was going down, you know, without agreeing to it.
But let me pose
So-
this question to you.
Yeah.
How surprised are you that he went down to Brock Lesnar, who is more or less a part-timer, rather than somebody who's there on a full-time basis?
I'm not sure. I mean, does this go all the way back to, was it 2 years ago, where Brock Lesnar was in the octagon and Mark Calloway was in the front row, and they had a little work.
I don't
at
recall
at
that.
a UFC event. Yeah, I reported on it. What's his name? Mark Calloway was at front row at a UFC event that Lesnar was fighting in, and as Lesnar walked by him after the match, Calloway got up and they kind of got in each other's faces. So, I mean, could that have been foreshadowing, you know, that far in advance? But who knows?
Who knows? We'll never know. I mean, that was always said, too, that if he was going to lose to anybody at WrestleMania, for some reason, he wanted it to be Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Well, we all know what a fan of MMA Mark Calloway is. So, you know, and Heyman last night did say, you know, that Brock Lesnar was the only guy that went over to the UFC, over to the Octagon, fought in the Octagon, was the champion over there. You know, and he, you know, made that rant about, you know, the pedigree of a guy like Brock Lesnar. But we do have a call.
Let's go to the call. You are live on the Squared Circle.
I have a few things to say about all three of you men.
Yeah.
Mr. Dempsey, I would like to come with you with the Paul Heyman guy thing. Mr. Hollywood, I don't even care to say what I have to say. Mr. Zimmerman,
Yeah.
how dare you 2 weeks ago hang up on me?
What was that?
What is
What was
going
that?
on with you?
What was that? I couldn't
You know
quite
what
hear you.
I said?
How dare I hang up on you?
We can't hear you.
You mean like that?
Like this?
Oh, you did-
These Utes.
Those meddling kids.
These Utes of
Those
today, yeah,
meddling-
the meddling kids.
Utes these days. I don't know. But the other great story coming out of WM30.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I don't normally wear wrestling T-shirts on the Squared Circle anymore.
But when I do,
But when I do, it's a yes T-shirt, a la Daniel Bryan. The future of the company. This is to tell you, the viewer, we are now living in a new era.
We are living the dream.
We are living in the yes era.
Yes.
Will there be any way to stop Daniel Bryan?
Well, Triple
I
H
do not
tried it.
believe so.
Triple H tried it last night, and what happened?
Triple H tried it last night and it failed.
well, you know, with Vince shopping around all the programming to these different networks, maybe he'll go to the Yes Network, fellas.
Yes.
The Yes Network.
Yes.
Oy vey.
Yes.
Well, that could be much better than what they have on there now.
Yeah, definitely.
Get rid of that.
I don't know. I
That
don't know.
evil empire. That evil empire.
Right. Take over and no longer show those evil pinstriped fools.
Hey now.
What was that? 14-5 they lost today? Something 14 just 4.
Oh, I love New York City.
I love New York. It's that team I hate.
So, Daniel Bryan defeats Triple H in the first match of WrestleMania in 25 minutes and 58 seconds. My computer froze up. I do not have the rest of the times for you exact, but times don't really matter anyway.
It's going to get edited.
The fact is that Daniel Bryan defeated Triple H to begin with. Triple H was not happy the rest of the night.
No, and neither was Stephanie.
Neither was Stephanie.
Nor was he happy last night on Raw either.
He wasn't very happy. And you know what? I think we're going to have to get used to seeing Triple H be a very unhappy man for some time to come. I did happen to like Triple H's get up at the beginning with his entrance with the King of Kings.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. But Daniel Bryan doesn't need a dramatic entrance
No.
to WrestleMania
No.
30.
Speaking of entrances, Cena got no entrance whatsoever this year.
No.
Cena always has the really cool entrance.
Right. I mean, I understand that he was like third, fourth on the card, but he still always has like something.
And I have to say,
unusual at least.
I have to say, I was quite shocked that he won the other night. I really thought that Bray Wyatt was gonna really put an end to Cena the other night.
I thought John Cena. I was expecting John Cena to get carried out.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, well, that was my
And-
prediction.
We were all wrong.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the Wyatt entrance at WrestleMania?
Oh,
That was awesome.
yeah, the Wyatts are great.
That was awesome.
It's that gimmick is so over right now that they're heels and they're getting, especially on Monday Night Raw last night. The Wyatts were so over. It's so popular even as heels.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they were getting
no
really
stopping them.
tremendous chants last night
Yeah.
in
yeah.
that match.
They had people.
Let's go, Wyatt!
They had people singing that song. You got the whole
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, they're the most over.
And of
group
course,
right
we
now.
can't really mention what they were chanting for Cena, but it was kind of funny because I was doing the same thing at home, and then 2 seconds later, the whole arena started doing it
Yeah.
to Cena's music.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What kind of day are we living in when a heel is getting cheered and a babyface is getting booed?
Well, I mean, it goes back to Steve Austin, Stone Cold. He was the biggest heel in the company. Getting
What?
Yeah. What?
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 Are you seriously saying what to me?
He was the top heel in the company with a feud with the babyface Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret was the one getting booed.
Right. So, I think that they're doing a good job. We're going to see the Wyatts just get bigger and stronger. The Shield are going to get more popular, especially turning face, and it should be interesting moving
Yep.
forward.
I expect that the Wyatts will increase in numbers.
Like adding.
At least one more person.
Well, hopefully it's not an established person. Maybe they bring somebody else in.
Right.
From NXT, maybe?
Yeah.
Bo Dallas, I don't believe that Bo Dallas will
Good one.
be joining Bray Wyatt.
That's his brother.
Whether they're brothers or not. If anything, I could see them feuding. Brother versus brother.
I could see another brother versus brother feud.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the Rhodes brothers are cooling down, so and they're not going to split the Usos up anytime
No.
soon.
Absolutely not.
So yeah, maybe you're right.
It could be revealed somewhere that Bray and Bo are brothers.
Yeah.
They can even bring IRS out there
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and wanting Bray Wyatt to pay his taxes that he hasn't paid. We could just make this a whole family affair here.
Well, I mean, it practically is.
But now that he's the champion, that's the question. How long will Daniel Bryan be champion? How long will he carry that for?
Honestly, I thought he was going to lose it on Raw last night.
I did too. I was like, oh no, we're going to get some McManigans here.
Yep.
I thought it would be a little too quick to lose it on Raw the next night. You have to get him away from New Orleans. Don't forget, isn't the next thing called Extreme Rules?
Yes.
I have a suggestion for Extreme Rules. I don't want to get off topic too long from WrestleMania, but
Yep.
let's see here. We got the Shield helping Daniel Bryan. We got 4 people there, right?
Yep.
You got, on the other side, we have helping Triple H. We have Corporate Kane. We have
Evolution.
Randy Orton, and we have Batista.
Right.
You got 4 people on each side. I don't think they're going to do this.
No.
You know where I'm going?
Oh yeah.
2 rings in a steel cage.
War Games,
Right.
And what happened?
It does sound like it to me, though.
right?
And what happened to the old age outlaws last night?
Maybe they had to go back to the retirement home.
Maybe they were at the Silver Dome. They were at the Silver
They
Dome.
went to the Silver Dome.
Vince must have loved that, huh?
Oh my goodness, that was awesome.
For Hulk Hogan to come out
You know,
and say,
and
"Welcome
then-
to the Silver Dome."
Right, and then Stone Cold comes out, and he calls him on the carpet for it, and then The Rock comes out, and he calls him on the carpet for it.
I heard I thought this was going to be a rockless.
That's
WrestleMania.
what I said. As soon as I saw The Rock, I was like, I thought we were rockless this year.
But I must say that when Stone Cold Steve Austin came out, he gave a shout out to the Squared Circle.
And we want to thank Mr. Austin for that.
Yes, I did hear
Mr.
that.
Williams.
You know, I do tout his Steve Austin show quite often, so he returned the favor. And,
Well, that's good.
Mentioned the Squared Circle.
And of course, we get mentioned on Monday Night Raw quite a bit,
Quite
too.
a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
The Squared Circle.
Squared circle.
You know, we're gonna have
It's
to,
almost like they're always talking about the squared circle.
And, and Thunderous.
you know, the only thing we talk about is the WWE, so you know they can return the favor.
Right. We don't really talk about.
Yeah.
The other one that puts us to sleep.
Really.
Although most of the roster of PWA has been on our show, and some members of TNA, and quite a few of the other
What, you say something?
RWE, and you know
Getting drowsy there.
Ugh.
Vinny V, who's worked with NEW, Bull Dread, who's worked with
Oh, of
NEW.
course.
But you know, the only thing we do talk about is WWE. So anyway, sorry.
Anyhow.
Sorry.
Right. You know, it worked Thursday night. I went right to sleep.
And of course, but this week though, it's supposed to be the Wrath of Dixie.
The wrath of the what?
Dixie,
So are they trying to copy Star Trek?
I guess.
Yeah, right.
It's always a wrath of Dixie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Speaking of, while we're talking about TNA, former owner and wrestler for TNA, Jeff Jarrett, has announced his new company. Now it's going to kill me. What's the name of the new company?
I don't know
You
what the
said
name-
it before.
Global Wrestling?
Global Force Wrestling. That's
Global
it.
Force
Global Force Wrestling. GlobalForceWrestling.com. Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett started their own new company, and we're going to see where we're going to go from there. They have an announcement coming on Monday the 14th, and you know they're slowly rolling out their business plan and their roster. So Jeff
Interesting.
Jarrett, Karen Jarrett, Global Force Wrestling. Good luck to them. Hopefully, they'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Hopefully they could do it right this time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, you know, no, I don't think you can blame Jeff Jarrett. You know, he had an awesome product from the beginning of TNA. He just really didn't have the money to back it.
I know.
And you know, he took Dixie Carter's money and you know, saw where it was going and left, and Dixie Carter and her cohorts ran it into the ground. So you can't blame Jeff Jarrett, because you know what? While he was in charge and running it, and in the you know the early, like what, the first 10 years,
Right.
they were fantastic.
They actually
Yeah.
had numbers.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, they were never a real threat to Vince, but they were a viable company and a really good alternative to the slick PG.
Exactly.
And as you
of
said,
WWE.
a number.
They got their contract with Spike because of that.
Right.
And as you've said a number of times, Vince needs some viable competition.
Yes, without a doubt.
There's nothing out there right
Without
now.
a doubt. You know, and you know the pedigree and reputation of Jeff Jarrett is going to take him a very long way in signing talent, and hopefully he goes with the global brand and gets talent from all over the world, and you know learns from Dixie's mistake. Don't just get the names of former guys, older guys. You know, come in with a new
New
face
talent,
and
yeah.
a new talent and a new product, and make your make your reputation on that, much like he did at the outset of TNA.
Yeah, I think that's what today's wrestling fan is craving for. They want to see the new people.
We don't want to see the same ones over and over and
Yeah,
over
and it's
again.
no disrespect to the Hogan and Rock
No.
and Austin and anybody that has came before, but how did Randy Orton say at WrestleMania 20? It's just evolution.
Yeah.
It's just the way of things. I mean, I'm seeing some new characters coming in into the fold here from NXT.
Yes.
We saw one last night. AJ Lee was successful retaining the Divas title at WrestleMania 30 in that Battle Royal.
But last night,
when you bring in the NXT Women's Champion, who is very lovely.
Yes.
I think so. I believe. What's her name?
Paige.
Paige. Coming out just to congratulate AJ, and AJ's,
shooting off her mouth.
And insisting upon a match. And guess what? We have a new Divas champion, this girl Paige.
And her finishing move is the Paige Turner.
The Paige Turner.
I wonder if Ted Turner is aware of that.
I know.
I like what
Right.
you said. Her song should be "Turn the Page."
Right. Metallica
Here I
doing during the classic Bob Seger, yeah.
On the road again. That would be a great song for her.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So we have a new Divas champion. We also have a couple. We have, if you believe it, I can't believe it. Believe it.
Yeah.
Believe it.
What's bull?
Anything isn't impossible. I'm possible. This is Bo Dallas. This is the real life brother of Bray Wyatt,
Yep.
who is a sensation over at NXT, and he's about to be coming to the main roster.
Yeah.
Adam Rose.
And also, we are all going to witness the Adam Rose experience. And if you have never caught NXT on the network or on the internet, this guy Adam Rose, I really like that gimmick. I think it's fun. It's it's a partying gimmick.
Yeah. It reminds me of the Tom Cruise character in Rock of Ages. Very much so. He was basically doing an Axl Rose impression.
Right.
So I think Adam Rose, Axl Rose, I think that's where they're going with this. Like he's a hard partying, like rock star. He's got the party boss.
Like Jay Williams.
Yeah.
I can throw a party. I can throw a party. I can show up whenever I want to work the next day.
Yeah, you nearly were late today. We were about to dock your pay.
I just if anything, I'll increase my pay. I'm the one that writes the checks here, pal.
Yeah, well.
How do you 000?
I mean, NHTV could dock my. Maybe I should show up a little early.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Because maybe they'll be like, well, sir.
You leave us peons here to set it up and get everything ready, and
Well, you did a great job.
you walk onto the set like you're like you're Hollywood.
Well, that's my name, Hollywood.
Tom and I book all the guests. It's like, wait, what? It's I don't know, brother.
Oh, and
You
by
gotta step up
the
your
way,
work here.
I did take care of that issue today. I did purchase our tickets for PWA.
PWA
So
on
We're
this Saturday evening.
next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
It is next Saturday. Is it Saturday before Easter?
Yeah,
Yes.
the night before.
Yes.
The night before Easter, Easter Eve. PWA presents Risen at the banquet facility, the balcony banquet facility.
And you're not going to get lost, right?
In Hamden.
I know a lot of people in Hampton.
Yeah. Next week we'll go over the entire card, and hopefully get one of the talent in. Like I said, Lucifer Lords was planning on joining us this evening, but he got delayed on the flights.
That's understandable. It happens.
Oh yeah.
It does happen.
And I'm sure after the week he had out there going to Access and WrestleMania and Monday Night Raw, I'm sure he's going to be exhausted.
Oh, I'm sure.
And obviously he's going to get right back in the PWA and into the training, getting ready for his match next Saturday.
Definitely.
So
Look forward to seeing him, and I look forward to seeing professional wrestling come to the great town of Hamden.
yes,
Our wonderful neighbors next
Yes.
door. Exactly. Some great people, some great friends of mine live out in Hamden, and they're not wrestling fans, but it's a great town.
oh yeah.
Exactly. Okay, Mr. Paul Heyman guy. So you're jumping on the Paul Heyman bandwagon because Cesaro wins the Battle Royal, and now Paul Heyman's going to make a big star out of Cesaro.
Absolutely.
How far do you see Cesaro going?
I think he'll. He's getting the big push now. I think he'll be around for a while.
Do you see him being future champion?
Possibly.
I see him starting out with one of the lesser belts, maybe the IC title, right away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll be champion right away, but I think down the road he'll be a good champion.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe that's why I wasn't really feeling too good the other morning, because I was thinking of that spin.
That just amazes me how he does that.
Yeah,
The king of swing.
right. Hey, I didn't make it
It's
up.
incredible. You know what's even more incredible is how nobody actually passes out or gets dizzy
Right.
too much from.
But, you know, more impressive than the swing is his slam of the Big Show
Yeah.
at the end of the Battle Royal. That was
Yep.
amazing. You know, I thought, wow, this is, Hogan and Andre moment. And he actually lifted him higher
That's what I thought.
and better than Hogan lifted Andre. And as I said last week, pound for pound, he's the strongest guy in that locker room. And, they say his conditioning and his weight program is just through the roof. So I'm expecting really, really, really big things out of Cesaro.
Were you surprised by the breakup the other night? We kind of anticipated that.
Oh, the Real
though.
Americans?
Yeah, we kind of anticipated that.
It was
Yeah, it
anticipated.
was due. It was due.
I was kind of sad to see it go, but I mean, Jack Swagger could always turn around and get a new partner.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
But we got a call on the line,
Let's go to the phones.
and hopefully it's not one of them Utes.
You are live on the Squared Circle. Hello?
Are you? Yep, Bill from North Haven. I called in last week.
Yeah,
you doing,
welcome
Bill?
back. Welcome back.
Hey, once again, great commentary, guys. Enjoy listening to what you guys are saying.
Thank you.
And from my perspective, my question for you is, how would you grade if you had to grade WrestleMania from like 1 to 10, 1 being, obviously not good, to 10 being, one of the best ones? How would you grade it?
We'll start with Tom.
I say 7.
I'm going to say 8.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give it a solid 8. I'll give it a solid 8.
Yeah, I didn't get to see a lot of it. I just had so many things going on, but I think the highlight was definitely the Daniel Bryan match. And last night I was watching the Monday Night Show for 2 reasons. First, to be able to see him come out, and I think overall this is a crowd. You could just tell how much they really, truly admire what he does and how good he is at his craft.
Yep.
When they started chanting, "You deserve it," I think that's. You looked at his face, you kind of saw you looked like he had a little tear in his eye.
Oh yeah.
But and I think it goes over well, because everybody, the crowd relates to him, and they've done it. I think that's probably the one character or the one person they've done the best job in the last year with, is maintaining how that storyline goes and the things that they've put him through. I think that, when they were chanting, "You deserve it," I think that kind of culminated everything there.
Absolutely.
I was a little surprised, though, the whole, Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H possible Evolution reunion.
Yeah.
Of course.
My one question would be is, do you think that Ric Flair would come back as part of that?
As much as I'd love to see it, I think Flair's pretty much done
I don't
right
think
now.
so. I don't think
Flair does have a Legends contract, and he's been seen down at NXT with his daughter. His daughter's training down at NXT to be the next diva. So, Flair is around and available and on the payroll. So, we can't rule that out.
No, we couldn't.
I can't see him taking any...
He won't
No.
wrestle, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
I can't see him taking any bumps, but as, a mouthpiece, I think it would be great.
Yeah. And the one thing that I was disappointed from last night's show, maybe you guys could elaborate on this a little bit more. I was disappointed at the end of the night, although I like the Shield and I like what they're doing with them.
Yep.
I think that's going over pretty well. I was disappointed that there was no Sting. And I think I said it last time, I'm a big Sting fan, but I was disappointed that he did not come out, or that there was a no-show, or, whatever was going on there. He just didn't appear. You guys have any more information on that?
You had some reports, right, Jay, that he was supposed to be there?
I did. I had some reports, but obviously, I mean,
Sting
it
was.
wasn't true.
I'll say this: Sting was in Stanford in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania. Now, we can only assume that they didn't come to any kind of agreement, because the one and only reason that Sting would be of use to the WWE at this time would be to fight Undertaker at WrestleMania, which right now it's a moot point. So either Sting and WWE could not come to an agreement, or if they did come to some sort of agreement, they scrapped it in favor of just having Brock Lesnar go over. So I think Brock Lesnar beating the streak really destroys every chance or possibility of Sting coming back.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I mean, the only other opportunity where they could have maybe brought it in last night was when the Ultimate Warrior came out.
I did see some signs in the arena last night.
And there was somebody
We want
in the Sting face paint as well.
Yeah, we want Sting.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, but
I mean, anything is possible. Don't rule it out. I mean, there could be other things.
yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, hell has frozen over.
Right.
We never thought Bruno Sammartino would be in the fold. Never thought that they would come to terms with Ultimate Warrior. So stranger things have already happened.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I've been watching it, like I said, about 35 years ago, and never thought you'd see the Ultimate Warrior out there again. I know you guys got a lot going on, but one last question.
Yep.
What do you guys hear about with Shane Douglas or Jeff Jarrett putting together a new promotion? I'm not sure if it's individual or as a group, but what do you hear about that?
Yeah, we just mentioned that Global Force Wrestling, Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett just announced on the Global Force Wrestling website, globalforcewrestling.com, that they're going to come up with a huge announcement on Monday the 14th of where they're going to go with this company. The company was just formed within the last couple of months, and Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett are the head of it. So I'd imagine that, as I said, with Jeff Jarrett's pedigree, that he's going to be able to sign some really good talent, and hopefully it'll have the momentum that he had at the outset of TNA when he created TNA.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be like a TNA all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about, obviously you want to be able to see it. Is there anybody know anything about where, if it ever will appear in the near future on TV, or will they just do pay-per-view?
They haven't made that announcement yet. We're going to keep a close eye on it. I will put the links on our Facebook site, and you can follow there. Of course, we'll be following that. I'm really interested in it myself. So you'll definitely hear more on our show as soon as we find out more next week, and we'll keep you up to date on it. But if you've heard us talk about PWA, I urge you, head out to PWA. We'll have the card on next week's show, and the following Saturday is PWA in Hamden, which is right around the corner for us.
Oh, really? That sounds cool. Yeah, I actually went on your Facebook last week after the show and looked at quite a bit of stuff, so I like what I see there, too, and the PWA stuff. I'll tune in next week, or maybe I'll stop into your show down there.
We'd love to have you.
We'd love to have you down here.
All righty.
More than welcome.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. You keep up the great work.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate it.
Yep.
It's always nice to have a new friend call in.
Speaking of independent scene, don't know if the NEFW brand has been tanked in favor of something called Revival Pro Wrestling, or if there's an official name change there.
I did see that on Facebook.
Right. And we're gonna have to
We'll get our crack staff on that.
get our crack staff on that. I don't want to quote anybody and say somebody changed their name. Or
Yours
say,
truly will have to get in touch with Eric Newton.
right.
Yes.
So we'll have more on that developing story. But as far as I know, they're gonna have a card coming up in Chicopee, the same place where NEFW.
The same place that Jay Williams can't find.
Can't find it, right?
Now I have a GPS. the GPS will find it. It'll probably take.
I have one too, so
It'll
I'll
probably
bring, I'll
take me
bring
to
mine
New York
in case
first.
yours doesn't work.
Oh, it'll work, but we'll have to go through New York first, probably.
Right. Fakakta.
Right. So there's a lot going on.
Let's switch gears and talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame ceremony.
I
Yes.
want to do that.
Yeah.
I really do. 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
On the network.
No, yeah, live 3.5 hours, and they cut it down to 2.5 already on the rerun on the network.
And a lot of that was probably just Mr. T, right?
Talking about his mama. Mr. T loves his mama.
If there's any one thing you couldn't get out of that Hall of Fame ceremony Saturday night, Mr. T loves his mother.
Wow.
He really does.
Wow, you know, I thought that youth program was a train wreck. Woo, Mr. T had it all over them.
Mr. T.
Thank God for Kane.
Yes. Yeah, we'd still be listening to Mr. T talk about his mother.
I think so.
Oy vey.
I think they would have just had to. I think they would have had to start WrestleMania with and left Mr. T talking about his mother.
Right. Oh, that would have been great. You know, you would not have been able to hear Coleman and Lawler during the commentary of WrestleMania. It would just be, and my mama, and my mama.
He loves his mother.
On President's Day, I love my mama.
Right. Oh,
He loves his mama every day.
Wow. But, I mean, Undertaker, excuse me,
Kane.
this
Kane.
fella here,
Oh, Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior, thank you. Ultimate Warrior speech, he had to mention that DVD. You
Of
know?
course.
Oh, God. That really, still to this day, 20 some odd years later, annoys the crap out of him. And it's still my favorite, and it's an awesome DVD. And I imagine right now the collectors are getting big bucks on eBay to get a copy of that.
Well, you know, now there's a DVD out that basically counteracts.
And that's very good
So-
too.
right.
And I must admit, I purchased it, and it is very good, and I enjoy it a lot. And it gives you a lot of his promos. You know, I love the promo where he's going to take the plane, Hulk Hogan, and I will grab the controls, Hulk Hogan, and I will smash the plane, Hulk Hogan. Which makes no sense because you're on the plane with him, Ultimate Warrior.
One of my favorite parts of the Hall of Fame had to be the Undertaker coming out with the urn
Yeah.
to salute Paul Bearer.
In
Yeah.
tribute to the late William Moody, his former manager Paul Bearer.
Yeah, and I must say, Lita looked very nice.
Lita looked gorgeous.
Absolutely, I will second that.
Yeah.
And her speech took 45 minutes, and it was not long-winded.
No, it was.
She is a great speaker.
Yeah.
She could have gone on longer, and she would have kept my interest.
And, you know, it's funny because a couple weeks ago she was on the Chris Jericho, Talking Jericho podcast, and a lot of what she said in her speech she already revealed on the podcast. So I was like, wow, she just said that. You know.
She had an interesting journey
Yeah, without a doubt.
to start with,
Without a
to
doubt.
become a wrestler.
Just showing up in Mexico. Mexico, okay, let's go. Where in Mexico? You know, just
Getting lost, trying to find. It sounds kind of familiar to me.
Yeah,
I guess. I
right,
can
right.
relate.
And she was at the circus. Probably the only place that she would actually see the center ring would be the circus.
Tell me.
You did not just say that.
Hey now.
There is a center ring in the circus. It's a three-ring circus. So
It's a three-ring
you have the
circus.
left one,
Right.
the right one,
Well,
and
you do
the
have that.
center
It
ring.
is a three-ring circus.
Right.
Of course.
And they do
And
have
the rings in the middle, just the center. Whatever. Of course.
right. And they
Right.
do have elephants there, and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Right, the Ringling Brothers.
Right.
Exactly.
Barnum and Bailey,
She
in our
went
area.
to the circus by accident,
Coleman Brothers.
thinking that it was the indie show that she was supposed to be booked on.
Right.
Well, it was pretty interesting, and I don't think too much of that got edited out of the.
Of the rerun.
How about when she pulled out the beer?
That was great.
Yeah.
Owing after all this time, how somebody that young to remember to do something like that.
Yep.
I mean, that must have really touched Arn Anderson and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio almost didn't get his beer. Arn Anderson was double fisting him.
I know.
And of course, her good friend Trish Stratus came out, and Trish looked great.
Trish the dish.
Oh,
Trish
yeah.
looks great as always.
Oh yeah, even after having the baby less than a year ago, I believe, and she looked great. Woo!
Absolutely. And Lita's the godmother to that child.
I believe so.
Right, so they're besties for real. She wasn't just saying that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Her nemesis.
And her friend.
Yeah.
And she's talking about her music career and the bands and how music really inspires her and and she found her place among the punk rockers when she was younger, and it gave her some sort of identity. And I can definitely relate to that, because music is just a force in my life.
Right.
That centers,
me
centers
personally,
me.
I don't get into the punk rock too much.
Yeah, but I mean, music in general.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, I'm Prince here. I've got some other band artwork on my back, and music is what centers me and puts me in a great frame of mind when times are troubled.
Exactly, and now Amy Dumas has turned around and channeled this into a new career altogether.
Yeah.
So,
Great to see DDP once again the other night.
exactly. Diamond Dallas Page inducting Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah. Jake the
And-
Snake in tears.
In tears.
And saying that DDP saved his life.
He literally did, and there was also a time where DDP kicked him out of his house because he wouldn't get the Cobra out of there.
Right.
The Cobra got stuck underneath the bathroom vanity, and Jake disappeared for 3 days.
The only thing that bothered me about the Hall of Fame, other than Mr. T running out loud, was Razor Ramon. He didn't really thank DDP. He was just in that character the whole time, and I don't know, that kind of rankled me. That I just found it weird that they put in Razor Ramon. They didn't put in Scott Hall.
Yeah.
They put in the character Razor Ramon.
And I don't know if he was told to stay in character, because he was kind of like
That's a good point,
straddling
yeah.
the line. That kind of, I don't know, it felt funny to me.
That's a good point, yeah, because he really did stay
Because
in
Warrior came
character.
out. I mean, they called him Warrior. That's his name now. But he came out as himself.
Right.
He wasn't in the Warrior gimmick. He slipped into it for little bits and pieces of it. And on Monday Night Raw last night, he was the character.
Right.
But outside of during his speech, he spoke as Jim Hellwig.
Warrior, right.
As the person, not the character.
Exactly.
And he referred to the Ultimate Warrior as his character.
His character.
So then, you get Razor Ramon coming out in character and never really breaking.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
Yeah.
Here's my question to you. Did any of you see the red carpet the other night?
Yes.
Now,
I did not.
On the red carpet, wouldn't you think that they're supposed to be in character on the red carpet?
No, I wouldn't think so.
I mean, I found it kind of odd the other night that Renee called Daniel Bryan. She actually called him Brian.
Yeah.
And then Bree referred to him as Brian.
Yeah.
I was like,
Stephanie always slips and calls
Yeah.
Hunter Paul and Paul Hunter. And
I mean, that just kind of threw me for a loop. I
Did
was
you
like,
notice Renee brought the twins?
yes,
My.
yes, she did bring the twins. You
Yes,
are
she
right,
did.
sir.
I didn't see the red carpet.
Oh.
But I mean, that just kind of threw me for a loop the other night. I'm thinking, here they are on the red carpet,
Yeah.
and it's right before WrestleMania, and I would have thought they'd want to stay in character.
I mean, really, I mean, many years ago when they didn't broadcast the Hall of Fame induction, that was a night for people in the business to celebrate themselves.
Right.
Other people in the business. And it was like more of a party, a private party for them.
Exactly.
Nowadays, they air it or they make it part of a special the following week, and then they put it on the DVD. But now, I mean, this is the first year we've watched it live as it happens, and the red carpet. I think that it's just a night for them to be themselves.
Were you expecting it to take as long as it did? The whole ceremony.
You know what? More than likely, it's probably been that way the whole time.
I
We've
believe
only-
And they
so,
just
too.
edited it
Yeah,
down.
we've only ever
Right.
seen the
We've
edited
never seen
version.
it. Yeah.
We've never seen the full unabridged version before.
I, you know, as I
it
said
probably
before,
is that long.
right.
And of course,
people that
like
have
you
been there-
said, Vince owns the network, so
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit I was looking at my watch going, wow, they're talking long. Geez, this is taking a long time.
I didn't mind
you know, it was all right. But
I didn't mind listening to the Warrior. I didn't
No.
mind listening to the leader.
Absolutely
You
not.
know, like I said, Razor Ramon kind of bothered me. Mr. T, I could have done without.
yeah, I could have did without
Who are
that.
we missing here?
Carlos Colon.
Carlos
Carlos
Colon.
Colon. That was-
sort of
that-
interesting.
Yeah,
That was good.
That was interesting because he's not a guy that, you know, the general.
It was great to see Carlito again.
Yeah, the general fans, you know, really know
You
a
know.
lot about.
The young kids these days definitely would never.
Yeah.
They know who Carlito is.
Right.
Yeah.
And as I said, you know, I mean, his promotion in Puerto Rico was pivotal for a lot of these guys, not just to make money, but to go somewhere and learn in a different fashion. You know, and I really think that's what we're losing with NXT. You know, all of the people that are going to come into the WWE are going to be trained in the same way by the same people, and it's almost going to be like a carbon copy of the previous generation. Whereas guys like Jericho, for example, he went to Japan and he did tours of Japan and learned the Japanese way, and then he went down to Mexico and South America and learned the Libre style, and went
Exactly.
over to Puerto Rico and learned their style. And these guys, even in the States, go from territory to territory, like Jake Roberts did, and the guys from that generation went from territory to territory, and they did things slightly different. You know, you went up to Vern Gagne and you trained and learned the Vern Gagne way, and then you went up to Calgary and you learned the Hart Dungeon way.
Yep.
And you know, with everybody now
You go to
coming
Texas
from
and you learn the Von Erich way.
correct, right, and with everybody now just learning the Vince McMahon way or the WWE way at the training center, I really think you're going to lose some originality, some variation. It's going to be, you know, for lack of a better term, it's going to be, you know, Big Mac.
Yep.
They're all going to come out the same, you know, and
Quarter
each
pounder
wrestler-
with cheese, Big Mac.
right, no
whatever.
matter where you go, if you go to this this McDonald's here or this McDonald's here, it's the same because they're training their employees and making their product all exactly the same. And I really think it's going to be bad for business in the long run, because you're going to have just a generic WWE
Well,
style wrestler.
it takes me back to what the Chicago Times interviewed Paul Levesque, Triple H, and I don't know if he really meant anything by this or not, but it almost seemed like a slight to the independent promotions to me, where you want to come down to he was talking about the Performance Center when
Right.
it first opened up, and if you want to come and learn wrestling and be trained the right way, come to the Performance Center, and it's almost like saying, I don't really care how long you've been on the indie scene
Right.
and how many indie promoters you've worked for. You don't know what you're doing until you come here.
Yeah.
When the reality of it is, he started on the independent scene himself.
Right.
Yep.
So
Right.
he's kind of hypocritical in that. You
Yeah.
know, I really hope he didn't mean that he's not going to take any experience on the indie scene into account. But it kind of sounded that way to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not. You know, I'm not optimistic as far as everyone coming out of that one cookie cutter
Right.
palace.
No.
So, again, going back to what we were saying before, that leaves a lot of people around and available for Jeff Jarrett.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I mean, the Colt Cabanas of the world, and you know, some of the guys from PWA, you know, that are great workers. You know, you've got Lucifer Lords, and believe me, I'm not blowing smoke, but go to the shows and look at the talent. You got AR Fox, who's come and done the PWA shows. He's a
Buzz.
yeah, you got Buzz Bloodsaw, who's a PWA talent.
Joseph
You got-
himself.
Yeah,
Wrecking
Azrael.
Ball.
You got Wrecking Ball. You got Joseph Von Schmidt himself. But Azrael, who comes and goes into the PWA and works for a lot of these other promotions, you know, and a lot of the guys that we haven't even touched upon or seen in our region, you know, because you know, even though we don't have the territories, you do have these independent promotions in every state, and some states more than one. So hopefully, a guy like Jarrett will be taking tapes or videos or MPEGs or whatever.
We can only hope.
You know, it used to be you sent your tape.
Yeah.
But however, whatever medium, he's going to see some of the talent that maybe Paul Levesque is going to be looking at.
Right. I mean, that'd be a shame on Paul Levesque too, if he really means anything by that, because now you're going to have this Jeff Jarrett come up, and don't forget there's something called Ring of Honor out there.
Yes.
Ring of Honor, I really think, as great as it is, I really think it's reached its plateau unless they get a major investor.
Which you never can't rule anything out.
Yeah.
With that.
As long as it isn't Dixie Carter.
Oh,
we
God
got
help us.
that. We don't
God
want
help
that.
us.
2 minutes or so left. So
Wow, that
need
hour
to,
went quick.
Yeah, we need to wrap this up.
We should wrap this up.
Worst of the week?
I'm going to say the worst of the week is myself for not coming up with the worst of the week.
Just kidding.
You're fired.
Yeah.
Worst of the week could be the Lesnar victory at WrestleMania because it was unexpected.
Worst of the week is the numbers came out for the WWE Network subscriptions, and they're just over 650,000, which they want to hit 1 million, and that doesn't take into account the people that are going to default after this week on their $9.99 a month payment. So we may see that number drop substantially.
You think people are that upset where they might just do that?
Yeah. I think some people just signed up at that at that rate for $9.99 a month, saying, "Gee, I'm going to get WrestleMania for $10, and then I'm going to cut off my credit card and not pay anymore."
Yeah, you get scammers out there like that.
Yeah, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's very pessimistic view that it's going to drop because some people say, "Oh, Undertaker lost and the stock dropped." No, the numbers came out for subscriptions to the network, which they were really depending upon for their business model, and the numbers were kind of disappointing, and therefore, so worst of the week is WWE stock.
And that's going to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Thunders?
Great show as always.
Yes.
Definitely.
Thank you for your calls. We really
Talk to
appreciate
Paul
it.
for me.
I will.
Okay.
And we'll get more information next week, and hopefully we'll have somebody from PWA.
Definitely.
We'll make Hollywood J point man on that, since it's been a while since he booked anybody.
I will get in touch with Eric Newton to find out about any
Definitely.
So we'll
FW.
have some indie stuff. We'll get some more on Jeff Jarrett, hopefully, and some more WWE fallout.
Definitely. I'm Jay Williams. Good night and good luck.